that Jesus loved. John was, and as we look back on this morning, I think that this me, but as I look at this, John penned this down. Then he was doing this, Jerry, that he might use this to teach old Peter a few things.
Right.
And I think a whole lot of times, I know for as me, I need to be taught. God, a whole lot of times, teaches me with that chastisement.
Amen. Me too.
A lot of times, Brother Preston, it ain't maybe the way we want to be taught, and I don't think you say, well, I don't see this and this and that. I know most of you preachers at different times using this scripture. A lot of times it'll be preached on maybe casting your net on the right side, but that ain't what God's given me this morning.
Amen. Help him, Lord. Mind the Lord, Gerald. Help him, God.
Would you pray for me?
Bless you, Lord.
It's just very first three words in this chapter is after these things. And what he's referring to, I guess scripturally wise, is after what all that took place with the crucifixion. What it all took place, Brother Tony, with the resurrection.
Yep.
All these things that had taken place prior chapters back to this. And he said after this, and God, Jesus had ascended back into heaven and was on the right hand of the Father, and he was talking after these things.
Right. Help him, Lord.
What I want to say this morning is that after these things, that's our life.
Right.
It's every day of our life.
Right.
We have things, Jerry, that affects us. We have things that we have no control over.
Right.
Amen, Brother Preston. We have things that the old adversary uses to buffet us.
Amen.
We have things that the old devil tries to come in and he'll try to split the church.
Right.
We have things that just comes our way.
Amen.
Bless you, Lord.
Yes, sir.
in every direction. And I think that's what I want you to get on your heart is after these things, he came to him and he says, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples. In other words, after these things, after he'd been resurrected, after he had proven to old Doubting Thomas, we're right there with him too.
Yeah.
And he's saying after these things, he come in and he made himself known. And then he begins to say, there were together Simon, Peter, and Thomas, called Didymus, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and the two other disciples. So after all that took place, and he made himself known, he showed himself this morning. If you've had it.
Amen.
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 We might as well just get out there, Brother Jerry. He showed himself here at Westview this morning.
Amen.
Bless you, Lord.
Amen.
Amen. And what are we going to do after these things? Amen. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? What am I going to do after he showed himself?
Amen.
Amen. It's real this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? And then you know what Peter done? He done just exactly what we generally, everyone around me, I do, come Monday morning.
Amen.
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 He did. You know what he done right here? If you run this back of what Peter was by nature, you know what I am? I'm a mechanic by nature. I'm a grease monkey. I've worked on junk all my life. That's just what I mean. You dig in the dirt. I mean that's your nature. That's what you do.
Amen. Yeah.
You know what Peter done? After all this that God had showed him, after all this that he done, you know what he says? I'm going to go back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
That very next word, after these things, old Simon Peter saith unto them, saying unto these others, I go a fishing.
Amen.
I don't care what God's done for me. I'm just going to go fishing.
Amen.
I'm going to go back to my hobby here, or what I like to do, Brother Tony, and I'm just going to go fishing, forget about everything.
Right.
Oh,
Help
man,
him.
you ever done that?
Amen.
Amen.
No longer than this morning for me.
Yeah. Me too.
Amen. No longer than this morning, though, adversary give me this flare up in me and give me excuse not to come.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Amen, Jerry. No, it don't bother me no more than this morning
Right.
that this old flesh wants to take over, and we want to go back.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. But you know what? Not only did that happen with old Simon Peter, listen to this next part. It says, and they say unto him, we also go with him. You know what? You influence those around you, whether you
Right.
want to or not.
Amen.
Yeah, yeah.
Amen.
Amen. I don't want the blood dripping off my fingers. Do you?
Amen.
This
him,
is
Lord.
like Chelsea said this morning. I pray that her and Alex is going to be a positive influence to her brother.
Amen.
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 Amen. It works both ways. But not, I mean, this the very instant that old Peter decided he's going to go fishing, he didn't take no persuasion. They jumped right there with him. That's
Amen.
that old flesh
Amen.
that rears up in us every
Amen.
Well, if he ain't going to do it, I ain't either.
Yeah.
Amen. If he ain't going to go to church, I'll just stay. I'll lay out too.
Amen.
I'm
Help
just
him, Lord.
talking, that's
Help
right
him,
where
Lord.
we, everyone, we might as well admit it, is old me.
Amen.
Me at the top of the list. That's where this whole thing was framing up. You may not agree, that's just what God showed me
Help him, Lord.
in this morning, but that ain't
Yeah.
even where I want to get to. And it says, and they say also, we also go with thee, and they went forth and entered into the ship. Immediately. I mean, they didn't waste no time. They didn't decide, well, we've got to go to the bake shop.
Yeah.
They're just going to go the other way regardless, Brother Tom.
Amen.
Amen. Here God had done all these things. He made himself, showed himself unto them. Don't you think the time we get to the stop sign this morning after we leave God's house, Brother Cliff, he'll give us a reason.
Yep.
He'll rear up and say, you just made a mess. And I know I have. But I'm trying to do what God did. He'll tell everyone that testified this morning, you ought not said that.
Yeah.
He'll try you to get you to turn right back to going to fishing.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
Every time.
But immediately, of that night, you know what? They caught nothing. You know where we'll end up in that? In a pity party.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. That's
God ain't
right.
blessing me. I just will quit what I'm doing. God ain't blessing me.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen, that's right.
Amen.
Every time.
They never even I said amen. They're not backing me. I just well to quit.
Yeah.
I ain't caught nothing.
Yeah.
Amen, Brother Preston. How many times has he fight you on the radio broadcast?
Yeah.
You just well to throw her in.
Amen. Amen.
There ain't nobody listening.
Yep.
Just well to quit preach, Brother Cliff. Ain't nobody listening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, brother.
Amen. The old adversary will do that thing every time. And they caught nothing. You know what? A whole lot of times, the reason we ain't catching nothing,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, think about it on the natural side.
Yep.
I mean, I fished a whole lot of times. You know what? My son, I mean, he's a fishing guy.
Help him, Lord.
And he don't just go out every day with the same bait or the same fly and catch fish, Brother Tom.
Right, mate.
You know what he has to do? He has to find what they're feeding on.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
He has to find what hatch or what bug. I've seen him go to the creek and go down and take that rock and pull it up out of the creek and turn her over. And it just looked like old rock for a minute. And then in just a minute, Brother Preston, it'll begin to dry off and you'll start seeing some movement. Them old nymphs glued to the bottom of that rock. I'm glad I'm on the rock this morning.
Amen.
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 I'm glad on the rock. And he'll
Bless him,
begin to
Lord.
examine that and he'll see what hatch is coming off. Amen. Amen. And with that, he'll figure out what they're hitting on.
Right.
And he'll tie that fly. You know, we don't never spend enough time with Jesus to even know what it'll take to get our loved ones in.
Right. Amen. You're right.
Amen. We want to stand back and judge too much instead of trying to put on the right bait.
Amen.
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 But what
Amen.
really blessed
Help
me
him, Lord.
this,
Help him, God.
and they caught nothing. Now listen right here. But when the morning was now come, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples knew not that it was Jesus. This is what God really blessed my heart with this morning. Even though Peter took off and went fishing, even though Peter went the opposite direction, took the others with him, Jesus come to where he's at.
Amen.
Yeah.
How many times has he come where you're at?
Amen.
Amen. Going the opposite direction, Jerry. Going where he shouldn't even never been.
Yeah, he finds his way.
Yeah.
Amen. I mean, they never even
Amen.
cried or prayed or done nothing. They was out there, they told all night and caught nothing.
Yeah.
But Jesus loved them enough that he's standing there on the shore, the very come daylight the next
Amen.
morning, come to where they's at.
Amen.
That's what blesses my. How many times he's come to where I'm at?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. He's come to where we're at this morning.
Yeah.
Amen. He's come right here, Brother Preston, to where we're at this morning.
Amen.
And you know what he done? Immediately when he come to where they was at, he wanted to feed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen.
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 Oh, he's feeding me this morning.
Amen.
Bless you, Lord.
Help him, Lord.
He come to where they was at, Tony, and he wraps you up and he feeds you this morning.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
Here Peter was, went the opposite direction,
Amen. Mind the Lord.
hadn't done what he already done. Brother CJ, he loved him. Come right there on the seashore and said, son, I love you. Just come and die. Oh, if you could just see that this morning, how much God loves us.
That's right. Yes, sir.
How much God
Amen.
loves us. If he caught anything, he knowed he hadn't caught nothing.
Yeah.
Amen. He knows that. He knows that a lot of times that we're just sitting there casting. I know Robbie can tell us this how many times. It ain't every time you cast you catch anything, is it?
Right.
Amen. But you got to keep on casting if you're going to try to catch it.
Yeah. Amen.
We got to keep on struggling with this. I don't care how much so adversary comes and tries to tear us down. We got to keep on going.
Amen.
Amen.
And immediately, Jesus is on the shore with her, and he said, "He says, children, have you any meat?" He knowed.
Yeah.
Amen. He knowed that they didn't have a thing.
Amen.
But I'm glad he's giving me a buffet this morning.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Amen.
He never bites
Help
you
him,
more.
Lord.
Bless you.
Mind the Lord.
He never
Help
bites
him,
you
Lord.
more. That's what he was saying right here. Peter, I know you went over here. I know you followed after what you shouldn't be following, but I'm just going to love on you.
Amen.
I'm going to feed you. I'm going to show you how much I love you.
Amen.
Jesus loves us this morning.
Yeah.
He does.
Yes,
Yes,
he
yes,
does.
brother.
I mean, you look at the crowd and the meeting, adversary come in this morning and try to get us discouraged. There ain't hardly nobody there. You know who? The only one that's important this year is him.
Amen.
He
Amen.
can do it without everybody, but he's got to be here to have a service.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. He
Amen.
says, children, have you any need? And they answered him, no. And he said unto them, cast the net on the right side. Amen. I'm glad that he's able to do that we can't do.
Yes,
Amen.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, I began to think about that this morning. A whole lot of times I've been out with Travis fishing. You know what, fly fishing, you have to kind of cast with the way the wind's blowing. Amen.
Right.
So it's all. I mean, it's hard to
Amen.
cast that little old light fly against the wind.
Amen.
So naturally, I just began to think on this morning. They's probably casting the easy way.
Amen.
Amen. That right side, Brother Cliff, is probably hard casting.
Right.
I mean, just
Yeah.
thinking, it's probably a lot easier just to throw it to the left.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure, but I mean, no doubt, had it been easy, maybe to go to the right, they'd already went to the right side.
Amen. 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 Help him, Lord.
Help him, God.
But he done that, and he told them, cast on the right side of the ship, and ye shall find.
Yes, sir.
Amen. I'm going to tell you, you get right with God, you shall find.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Bless him,
You
Lord.
won't have to worry about getting fed no more.
Amen.
He'll feed you. He'll feed you, Jerry. He'll clothe you. That's what he done. I mean, Simon Peter, he done, like I said before, he done all kind of different things as we studied out when we were studying the footsteps of old Paul many years ago. Old Peter got in trouble over there, woman, by somebody else's farm.
Yeah.
Amen. Peter done, people find fault with when he stepped out of the boat and he took a few steps and he began to sink. But he's the only one that got out of the boat, wasn't he?
Yeah. Amen.
He's the only one that had enough faith to get out of the boat. His faith, just like mine is, he got weak real quick.
Amen. Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going on down in the latter part of this, and he done this, and this 12th verse, after they got out of the boat and he drunk all this net full of fish over there, and Jesus said unto them, come and dine. That's what he's saying this morning.
Amen. Yeah.
That's what he's saying this
Amen.
morning, Brother Preston's come and dine.
Amen.
I mean, I'm the world's worst. You take on the natural side, these big old buffet bars, Brother Tony, I'll eat them back and bust. You know what? I think, well, I got to get my money's worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Jesus has got a table spread here this morning. You can eat and eat and eat and eat.
Yeah.
He's fed me this morning. I don't know about either the rest of you. He's fed me.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Amen. He's given strength,
Amen.
Brother Jerry, to keep going on. One other thing I want to try to bring out, maybe to show you just a little bit here. This 15th verse on down through this, a lot. This God showed me this morning, and hadn't never even seen it maybe before. Brother Preston, it says, so when he had denied or had died, Jesus saith unto Simon Peter, so this whole chapter is focused on Simon Peter, if you ain't got this.
Right.
John's pinned this down, but it's all focused on old Simon. And he said unto Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonah, lovest thou me more than thee? And he said unto them, yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. And he saith unto him, feed my lambs. So he's telling old Simon, if you love me, do what I'm telling you to do. Throw that fishing rod down. Get up there and do what God's called you to do.
Amen.
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 And do what God leads you to do.
Amen.
He's using this as an example. There ain't nothing wrong with going fishing.
Right.
There ain't nothing wrong with going hunting. There ain't nothing wrong with all these different things. But he's saying when God tells you to do something, he ain't going to take second fiddle.
Amen.
Right.
Yeah, boy.
He's
Right.
not. If you think you're going to be fishers of men and you're going to have souls for your labor, you're going to have to do what God tells you to do.
Right.
Bless him,
Amen.
Lord. Yeah.
That's basically what he's
Amen.
telling him here. And he saith unto him again. So he not only, you ever had something where, I know growing up, when your parents tell you one time, they turn around and tell you the second time, making sure you heard it.
Yeah.
Right.
Amen. And then the third time, I'm speaking from old self, the third time it was co-op with me.
Yeah.
If you ever got to three.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
But Jesus is coming back here, and he's telling old Simon Peter the second time, just in case you didn't hear me the first time. He said to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonah, lovest thou me? And he saith unto him, yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. And he said unto him, feed my sheep. So the first time it's the lambs, the second time it's the sheep. He's saying, from the children up, feed them. Feed them.
Right.
Amen.
And he saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonah, lovest thou me? And Peter was grieved, because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things, that thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus said unto him, feed my sheep. Now this is just me, but what God showed me this morning, the reason I think that they come and asked him the three times, or told him the three times, he was stirring up old Simon Peter's remembrance
Right.
of how he denied him three times.
Right. Amen.
Just a few chapters over here before, if you go back over
Yeah.
Matthew, old Simon Peter told him, he said, I won't go take the time to go read it. He told him, he said, Lord, it don't come what may. I won't deny you.
Right.
And Jesus looked at him, he said, Simon, he said, before the old rooster crows three times in the morning, you'll deny me three times.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
And when you go over and you can go over, I encourage you to read in Matthew 27, that third time that he denied him, I mean, he even went to cussing over there, and he's warming by somebody's fire. You know, when the
Yeah.
damsel come up, he denied him, and the other come up, yeah, you're one of them, and he began to curse, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And then the third time he heard that old rooster crow.
Yeah.
Amen. And he said he went out and wept bitterly, because he
Amen.
knowed
Amen.
he'd messed up.
Amen.
I've messed up.
Amen.
Amen. I have. Many be the time, Jerry. I've been right there like old Peter.
Amen.
But, I mean, Peter's intent was not to deny Christ. Peter's intent was to stand there, I mean, shoulder to shoulder with him, Brother Tony, and do that. But you know what? The pressures of this old life, a lot of times we fail. We
Yeah,
crumble.
I do.
I do. I fail and I crumble. And it's just me this morning. I think the reason that he come to him in this scripture and he asked him 3 times, or told him 3 times, asked him that, do you love me? I believe he was bringing that old rooster crow back into old Peter's remembrance. He done denied him 3 times.
Amen.
No doubt it grieved his heart, but
Amen.
I believe it. A lot of times we need to be reminded.
Yeah.
And if you turn even over into 2 Peter, chapter number 3, verse number 1, we can find our place here. Yeah, 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse number 1. He starts out the chapter and says, this second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance. Now, Peter had pinned that down there. And when I read that this morning, you know what the hardest part I have with that is keeping my mind pure.
Yeah.
Amen.
Right.
That old adversary can't get in this, Jerry. He can't get in that heart. But I'm going to tell you something. He can get up here and knock your brains out and mess with that mind.
Right.
Amen. He will every time. And I say that when he goes on the latter part of this chapter, and we try to get done, get out of the way. He starts out this 18th verse, verily, verily. In other words, this don't seem like it's believable, but it is.
Right.
You ain't going to believe this, but it is. And he goes on to all these different things of how, when you're a youth, you're going to be led. You're leading yourself. You're strong. You're strong-willed. You can do what you want to. And there's going to be a time you're going to be influenced and be led away by other things.
Amen.
Amen. You're going to be influenced and you're going to be led away. That's what he's saying in this 18th verse. He says, they'll girt thee and gather thee whether thou wouldest not. There's a whole lot of times I've been drawn into things. Hindsight, I wished I hadn't been drawn into.
Right.
Amen.
Amen.
Every one of us have. You know, if we could just get a do-over.
Yeah.
If I could just get a do-over, I would have handled that a lot different.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen. I'm telling you, if I could just get a do-over, I would have been a lot slower to speak.
Yeah. Amen.
If all you can't, them do-overs, it's like that old saying, though the waters went over the dam. It ain't going to return back.
Amen.
But he's telling him and he's warning him here. And then he began to speak again, and he said, 19th verse, this spake he, signified by that death he should glorify him. And when he had spoken this, he said, just follow me. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about what your neighbor is. You know, that's what the old adversary wants us to do, is dwell on somebody else.
Right.
You just worry about yourself.
Help him, Lord.
It's like that old song, I'll face nobody's record but my own. I can't help what anybody else does, but I can help what I do. Amen. And that's what he's signifying here. And Peter turns to him about seeing the disciple again, seeing John, whom he loved. And he leaned on his breast and he betrayed him. And then Peter, seeing him, saith unto Jesus, Lord, what shall this man do? In other words, he's worrying about him.
Right.
He's worried about, Peter, worried about what's going to happen over here. And listen what Jesus told him. Jesus saith unto him, if I will, in other words, if it be my will, that he tarry till I come, what is it to thee?
Amen.
If I prolong his life till I come back, what is it to thee?
Right.
Amen.
That's where we have our hardest problem. Amen. Don't worry about anybody besides you. Worry about what God's speaking and dealing and telling your heart.
Right.
Amen.
Amen.
And then it went on there, and then went this saying abroad among the brethren that this disciple should not die. So see how quick things turn?
Amen.
Immediately as he said that, there's automatically a rumor that got started.
Right.
Amen. That wasn't what he said at all. He said, if it be my will, I could keep him alive till I come back. But immediately there's a rumor got started that's saying that this disciple should not die. Yet Jesus said not unto him, he shall not die. Jesus saying right now, that ain't what I said.
Right.
That ain't what I said. He says, if I will that he tarry till I come. And again he said, what is it to thee? I'm going to close this morning with that very statement. What is he to thee? What is he to you? Because I'm going to tell you this morning, it's individual.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
Like I say, I can relate to old Peter because he failed. And I think John was pinning this down that we could learn from Peter's failures. And I'm going to tell you, I failed.
Amen. Me too.
At the top of that Jerry do, but I thank the Lord. The very thing that really blessed my heart in this. Oh, Peter went a different direction. Here Jesus had been crucified, rose the third day, walked with them, made himself known unto them, and immediately old Peter turned and went back to what he's doing. Went back to being a fisherman. But I'm glad Jesus come to where he was at.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
I'll say that this morning. He's come to where you're at. You say,
Amen.
how do you say that? He's here this morning.
Amen. Amen.
There ain't a doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
He's here.
Amen.
He's here, Brother Preston.
Amen.
That's right.
And he's wanting to do that only he can do. That's what the Lord's given you. I hope
Bless you,
something
Lord.
of this will help each one of us.
Good,
Thank
brother.
you, Lord.